Hello everyone and welcome back to round 6 of the Parmax Mégane Trophy here with Next Gen Racing. I'm NXTGEN PMR, a commentator as always for Lobby 1, and we're here in Rosamond, California for the second half of the championship, and it's been a very good season so far. The drivers have had a number of competitive races now, and the grid is starting to take shape in terms of those that are looking for fighting for the championship. Hirakram being obviously one of those main drivers, leading the championship so far. He's doing absolutely fabulously, but there are a number of drivers on the grid who certainly can challenge for the top spot tonight. Jainio certainly one of them. We've got Jack CD in for tonight's race. First time we've seen an appearance from him in Lobby 1. You got the Motor Drive car just there. Got the Skyver as well. Been showing some increased performance. It's been very good to see Skyver in this championship. I certainly believe he's making a good contribution to the series. There's Bruce Lee Harden, Hirakram's nearest rival in the championship standings. You've got 1805, KZ2 Haas in the pits. Matty Rudd, who has to serve a one-place grid penalty following an incident last time out at round 5, and JPH as well in the pit lane currently. But right now we're going to skip it over. We're going to go straight into qualifying for the start of the second half of the season. So there we go, into qualifying then. Ticked us over 10 minutes, of course, for qualifying in the Mégane Trophy. And the first driver out there, you could see just launching themselves out of the pit lane there. Looked like it was 1805, who's back in the series tonight after a cameo appearance back in round 2. But the Miltech car just running there in front of Ruddo 24, who you'd expect to be fighting for a race win, as 1805 has gone sailing off actually at turn 3. Not quite certain how, in fact, it's gone flying off rather. Not sure what's happened to him. He's got himself back on circuit. There's Matty Rudd as well. Hello to those in the comments area. Hi to Shaggy Scooby. Good to see you watching live. Hopefully we'll be seeing you back soon in Lobby 2. Some more action. Jordan as well. But Hirakram, he'll be the last one to start his provisional flying lap. So we'll watch and see, and expect Ruddo to be setting the provisional first time as he just comes round turn 9 and turn 10 for what will be the start of his outlap. We'll ride on board with Ruddo as he comes around this really difficult final corner and open up the first lap of the second half of the season. So out wide he goes, across that white line where the pit lane is, and up into 6th gear goes this Renault Mégane up to 150 mile an hour as he brakes at the 100 metre marker down into turn 4. They're on the 4th gear at turn 1, runs it just to the white line on the outside, does quite well, then squares it up nicely for turn 2. This long turn 2 corner, shifts down to 4th, does Ruddo, just to make sure the nose stays tucked in, and then the car washes out over the apex, and then up towards turn 3, off cambered corner, got it aimed for the line on the inside where the curb is, which Ruddo's done well, flicks it through turns 4 and 5. A nice line through there from Ruddo, has to be said. And this sweeper down through turn 6, and then a quick switch back to turn 7 in 3rd gear for Ruddo, up into 4th, flat over turn number 8. Nicely done from him so far. Good lap from Ruddo at the moment. Little King here at turn 9. Relatively straightforward, and then this long sweeping right-hander, which actually has 2 stages to it. The first part Ruddo's cleared and navigated relatively well. It's this second part where the car has to shift down into 5th gear, which he does hook the inside of the curb. Ruddo just runs a touch wide, won't affect him too much, but Ruddo will come towards the line. And what's his lap time? Driver saying we're in the 112s earlier on, and Ruddo sets a 113.3. There's Jainio on a 113.4. Jack CD, great effort from the debutant this season. He has done a 113.1. Other drivers coming in, setting the lines. Skyver's done a 120, quite slow, must have gone off somewhere on circuit. Matty Rudd, he's gone and done a 1 minute 14.8. Bruce Lee Harden comes across the line. He's 6th currently, 1805 in the pits. But what about Next Gen Hirakram, the man to beat? And the man who's been showing off his skills. And what's his lap time? It's a 112.888 from Hirakram, and he takes the top spot for the time being. Great effort from him. Let's see if Hirakam can increase his gap and advantage to the rest of the cars and drivers behind him. And not just in, of course, not just in the qualifying session, but also in the championship. He leads currently on 181 points in first. Bruce Lee Harden, he's second in the championship on 170, only 11 behind. But Bruce will need to definitely find some more time in that Kappa back car. Third place is P. Gibb, 92 on 135. There's a name that is missing tonight, is P. Gibb. Unavailable, unfortunately, to make it, so he's at risk of losing third to Ruddo completely. Ruddo on the same amount of points, and look at this slipstream going on from Jainho and Ruddo there going into turn one. Not ideal line for Jainho at all there. Cracking camera shot as it pans through turn two. But Ruddo, he's on 135 as well. Fifth place is Matty Rudd on 113. Sixth, Duskiver, he's on 96. Martin JL09 is 7th on 93 points. DMAK Dominator, he's on 85 and 8th. JPH99, he's on 71. It's a bit of a slipstream train going on now, as you can see, as the cars filter the way through turn 5. KZ2 Haas, who's again back in for tonight. There he is in 9th place. He's 10th on 48 points, he missed last time around. Jainho's 11th and 18.05 after his cameo, down in 14th. Still a bit of points needed for Jainho to catch up. And P. Gibb just saying in the chat there, let's be honest, I'm not keeping third. Well, probably not at this rate, because Ruddo, regardless of where he finishes, providing he does, will be going in front of you in the championship standings. Jack CD just coming towards the line. Is there any improvement on this lap? No improvement there. Ruddo goes a little bit quicker, as does Jainho, so the slipstream working for these two. Alan has also joined the room. Alan will have a chance as well to get into the race, because with Matty Rudd having a one-place grid penalty, so currently he'd be starting in 7th, he will have to set a manual grid to get everybody in, and Alan will have the chance to start from 11th. But nevertheless, great camera shots here, and Hirakam goes even quicker to 112.8. It's only a 10th, or just less than a 10th faster, but it's still a good lap time. 18.05 just getting himself into the 17s. A little bit of a gap back to KZ2 Haas in 9th. And Alan has now unfortunately left the room. So we've lost Alan, unfortunately. But great circuit, Willow Springs, absolutely fantastic. A number of different layouts, including the Horse Thief Mile. Circuit itself opened up in 1953. A local businessman who decided he just wanted to go racing. That's exactly what he's done. A comment from P. Gibb there just saying how close to, I'm assuming you mean how close is Willow Springs to Area 51, Alien Homecoming. Obviously referring to Hirakam at the moment. He's going even quicker. Is Hirakam on this lap so far? We watch him as he comes round the final corner at turn 11. See what his lap time is as he comes towards the line. We'll ride on the bonnet cam. It's going to be a 112. It's a 112.6, so he's half a second clear of Jack CD. That's much better from Bruce Lee Harden. Needed that lap time. Man in second place in the drivers' standings needs to respond. That's a good way of doing it. 18.05 in the 15s. He's just latched himself onto the back of the group. Ruddo and Jainho still swapping places, but it's not really working for them, has to be said. Bruce Lee following Hirakam. They've got a very distant tow around this sweeping circuit, but it won't have as much of an effect as it will do for Ruddo and Jainho, who are very close together. Duskiver sat in 6th place at the moment, in front of Matty Rudd here, which is a really good showing from Duskiver. The ITG car, it just comes around that final corner. It's doing a great effort so far. Good turn of pace. JPH just coming over the line. Doesn't improve on his lap time, but Duskiver does improve, and he gets into the 1360s now. Just 3/10 off the back of Jainho and Ruddo, and in fact he's only 2/10 off Jack CD, so really close between 2nd and 7th at present. JPH is well right there in the mix, so 2nd to 8th only covered by less than a second. Haas is just in behind with 18.05 as Bruce Lee goes quicker again. The number 69 car, 13.2, still 6/10 off the back of Jack CD. Realistically, Bruce will want to get in front of Jack CD, who's going to be an interesting driver to see how he gets on. He has competed in the Méganes before as Jack. He's been in the Lobby 2s a number of seasons back, and he did relatively well in his performance there at Goodwood a number of seasons ago. Can he go one better? Can he get any points on the board? At the moment, looking very good for a front row start, but still a ways to go. JPH at the front of this slipstream in circus almost in terms of these three. So there's JPH, there goes Jack now, and then Duskiver. Ruddo goes quicker and gets himself into second. Great effort from the Geisen car. Duskiver improves as well into the 13.6s again. A very good effort. Ruddo just 3/10 off Hirakram's pace, but you've got to say Hirakram's pace is absolutely incredible around Willow Springs. He's really been on form. So 13.3, exactly the same lap time, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at that on the right hand side of your screen. A 13.311 followed by a 13.311. That's the consistency that Hirakram is displaying in that Joyce design car. The championship leader is doing absolutely phenomenally. 18.05 though, just 8 thousandths off the back of KZ2 Haas, and those two will hope during the race that they could just latch on to the slipstream chain and just hold on as the pace increases from lap 1, which it will do no doubt. But Haas will be the first car to see the checkered flag. Here he comes then towards the line. What's his lap time going to be in the Adrian Flux car? It is an improvement. It's a 14.6. That's a good effort from him. We're very happy with that, just within half a second now of JPH. Anybody else improving? JPH does improve. He's going to be still in 8th place, but he'll start 7th because of Matty Rudd's penalty. Depending on whether he improves, he doesn't. So Matty Rudd will start in 8th. Anyone else on a lap? Bruce Lee, the next driver, he's got to find a 10th. Well, he's not going to find a 10th. He's miles off it currently. So that's down and out for Bruce Lee. His best going to be 4th. Jainio's seen the checkered flag. Who else is out on circuit? Hirakram has got a slipstream from 18.05, but he's on a slower lap. And Bruce Lee slides across the line. What about 18.05? Can he improve? He can't. So it's Hirakram on pole position. Great effort for him. Be very happy with that one. And we'll go into the race briefly. Just into the race briefly. We need to set a manual grid. The drivers are aware of this, but we'll remind them again, and then we'll go into the race proper for the time being. Tom B 1883 there just saying desert track, interesting, nice hot air balloons. Yep, nice way to have a party atmosphere with a hot air balloon. Well, the drivers are lining up. They'll exit. Just a reminder to the drivers so we can set the grid. Which they are doing. We'll get a chance then to set the grid. Just taking a very brief screenshot of the starting grid, so bear with me whilst we make sure we get everything sorted. So there we are, we just got the results there, qualifying. So then we can go straight back to the action. So there we go, that's all sorted there, so everyone will have the chance to enter. I'll just say everyone enter just so we can set the grid. I need to, of course, edit the event settings. There we go, that's the one I was looking for. Jane, yeah, just putting a comment there saying, do you want to change the track? So everyone's been told to enter now, they'll have the chance to do that. So Hirakram on pole then. Be very good to see how he gets on. Everyone has almost entered, just waiting on Hirakram and Alan, who has now decided to not enter. So Alan needs to enter, we'll just give him a quick comment. Oh, he has re-entered now, so that makes life easier. We'll change the grid order then. So Hirakram on pole, so it's already sorted him out. We've got Ruddo, who will line up in second place. Jack CD, great qualifying from Jack, has to be noted. He will line up in third. There's Bruce Lee Harden in fourth position. He'll be very pleased with that effort. They will have a bit of work to do though to get past the cars in front of him. Janio will line up in fifth. There's Duskiver in sixth place. We don't need to move Duskiver, which is a fortunate thing. Matty Rudd won't start seventh. In fact, it will be JPH. We'll line up behind Duskiver. Then it's Matty Rudd. Then it's KZ2 Haas 1805, and Alan will also get the chance. So let's just double check that the grid order's set, which it is. I'll tell everyone race starting, and then we can go. So here we go then. Final begins shortly. Let's see how the drivers get on around this brilliant circuit. And here we go then, in for the race. So it's Next Gen Heracram on pole position in that Joyce design car, the white and green car on the left hand side. Ruddo 24 is second on the right hand side in that black and red Geisen car. Jack CD and Bruce Lee could cause problems. Let's watch out for their progress, but it's 20 minutes on the right hand side, and for the sixth time this season, here come the numbers. And the race is live from Willow Springs. Great start from Heracram. He launches off the line and he's going to have a clear run into turn one. Ruddo filters in, as does Bruce Lee. He's got ahead of Jack CD, so great launch for him. Duskiver up to fifth place. Good launch as well. 1805 just hanging about at the moment, trying to find a way through. Matty Rudd still behind JPH, and there's Alan in the background, but that's KZ2 Haas getting past Matty Rudd, so a bad start for Matty, not ideal for him. And we look further forward, Jack CD putting pressure on the back of Bruce Lee Harden as they approach turn 3. Is there going to be contact? There isn't, fortunately. Bruce, recognising that Jack was there, gave a little bit of room but not too much. Bit of contact as he went through turn 4, but no dramas so far. Everyone so far so good. Looks like almost too wide. Ooh, that's Matty Rudd going sideways in 9th place. Janio going very wide. Janio had a poor start. Let's get all the camera angles available for us. And Heracram being tracked already. Heracram with a very poor exit. Defending going round turn 10. Gonna have to be careful, as Ruddo will not be afraid to try and go around the outside. It's an unconventional line through there. But Heracram keeps the door shut. Bruce Lee trying to take advantage of the cost momentum for the pair of them, but he didn't quite get the exit he would have looked for. Look at Ruddo, he's going to have the inside line going into turn 1. Can he brake later than the championship leader? On the brakes he goes, later down on the inside in 4th gear, gets through. Can Bruce Lee go through? He's been pushed wide by Jack CD, so they're going to go almost 3 wide into turn 2, but Bruce Lee gets up to 2nd. Great effort from Bruce. He got pushed a little bit by Jack, who's going to try and go up the inside of Heracram through turn 2. He's going to force Heracram onto the gravel. He's going to have to do it the long way around at turn 3, but it's off camber. It's going to be very difficult. And Heracram, can he shut the door? He can't quite do it. Jack's on the gravel still. The motor drive car's just about hanging on. A little bit of more contact between the two. Jack's going to be on the outside though for the next corner, and sure enough, Heracram keeps his position. Very hardly fought, but Heracram holds on to 3rd, and you can see the gap it's already produced for Bruce Lee and Ruddo, and they'll know to work together to try and pull away from these two. Look at Jack trying to go past Heracram, absolutely not afraid of the 4-time champion is Jack. Can he get the car tucked in for the final corner, get a better exit? He can't quite. Bruce Lee runs wide in the background. Oh, someone's gone flying off circuit. That's 1805. He's hit the wall. In fact, he's hit the barriers that's over there at the final corner. So 1805 drops down the pack. Alan's right on the back of KZ2 Haas. Can't quite make a move though at the moment. Matty Rudd's actually dropped away from the next trio up the field, which is JPH, Duskiver. Janio's back up to 5th. Look at Duskiver trying to find a way past him. The blue and orange fast car trying to find a way back through the field. He's gone deep at turn 3. It's going to compromise him for 4 and 5. Look at JPH having a little look at the inside in that PMR car. The leading 4 have come together again. You can see just a bit further up as JPH tries to look around the outside. Has to do the switch back, but Duskiver places his car well, and that's allowed Matty Rudd to get a very good run coming through turn 7. He's going to have the slipstream provided from Duskiver, and he should be able to clear JPH Matty Rudd, and he does. And Matty Rudd back up to his original grid position. Slipstream effect coming out of turn 7 is absolutely incredible. Look at the speed that the drivers gain, and you can see the effect it's having further up the field, because Ruddo and Bruce Lee have now properly been joined by Hirakram. Hirakram on the outside. It'll be difficult to try and pull this one off. Bruce Lee just defends going through turn 1, and he'll again block the inside, which he does at turn 2. Swings wide a little bit. Hirakram trying to go around the outside. I tell you what, if Hirakram could pull this move off, that'd be absolutely incredible. He's still there coming around the outside. Can he get his nose alongside? He can do. He's going to be on the inside for turn 3. They're side by side going through the corner. A little bit sideways, the pair of them. What a fabulous move from Hirakram. That was absolutely outstanding. The championship leader showing why he is just that. That was an incredible overtake round the outside at turn 2. It's not often you see a move like that. And Hirakram deposes Bruce Lee down into 3rd position. So Bruce will have to just latch onto the back of Hirakram, use the slipstream to pull himself back up towards Ruddo. Jack CD's been allowed a chance to get back involved as well. Jainho just 1.6 back. He's going to have to hope the trio can start to form a quadro, a quad gang at the front, and hopefully he'll be able to latch himself on when they start fighting. But it's going to take a monumental effort from the multiple time race winner. Matty Rudd trying to go up the inside of Duskiver. Saw his move around the outside at the final corner there. He's going to be on the inside for turn 1. Should be able to brake later than the ITG car, and Zerkatech driver moves up into 6th. Still Duskiver trying to go around the outside at turn 2. We saw Hirakram do it, but Matty Rudd, wise to it, leaves the inside open but then shuts the door of a later apex. But great racing in the opening quarter of this race. JPH just there in 8th place. There's Haas still battling with Allen. Oh, a little bit of contact, bit clumsy from Haas almost coming across there. Have to be careful when racing side by side not to chop the car behind front nose off, and could have ended in tears. But luckily the Austrian driver, he's got a podium this season as Allen. Austrian driver though fighting for a spot in further inside the top 10 for 9th. So let's see how he gets on. Look at Hirakram, he's absolutely all over the rear spoiler of Ruddo 24 at 1 minute 12.5. Incredible lap time. He doesn't quite get the exit he would have wanted, but the slipstream around here is exceptionally powerful. Can he use that to go up the inside? He can't. He goes to the outside line at turn 1. Won't try and break around there. Will he try and switch back underneath? He's going to try and do the same move he did to Bruce Lee. Will he need to? He's going to have the line. He's going to be through. Ruddo's still got his nose there, but he doesn't have the momentum. And NXTGEN Hirakram up into the lead. And now his mindset goes from attack to defence. But Hirakram certainly showing off his overtaking form so far tonight. 22 points as it stands, heading his way. Actually 23 with his fastest lap as well. Let's see how he gets on. He's going to have to defend from Ruddo. You see the slipstream as he come over the hill, coming out of turn 7 through this little kink at turn 8, rather turn 9, and then through turn 10 you can see the slipstream, the gap closes all the way down as they approach turn 11. Ruddo's going to look to the inside. Hirakram just puts his car in the middle of the road. Not ideal in terms of lap time, but it certainly will stop Ruddo trying to make a move at the inside. But then the slipstream again coming out of turn 11. Ruddo, will he move to the outside? Of course he will. He'll look to the outside, the Geisen car. Can he brake and put Hirakram under threat? He can't really. And Hirakram remains in the lead. And there's Bruce Lee, just 1.1 back from this. He's right on the edge of the slipstream. See whether he can make any manoeuvres to bring himself up to these two at the front. And there's Bruce, then there's Jack. Jainho just hasn't quite made the inroads he would have wanted. I'm on a 1:13.4 last lap personal best. It's only a 10th quicker than Jack, so not as big a gap breakdown as he would have wanted. Bruce Lee really putting a good sector in there, just gets the gap down to just a tenth lower than what it was before, but tenths make very key margins around this circuit. But the slipstream that Ruddo has just pulls him away. And he can sit on the back of Hirakam as he comes through turn 11. Fifth gear on the power, a little bit wider that time. You can see Hirakam briefly pulls away, and then the slipstream comes back once more. Hirakam, will he look to defend going into turn 1? He doesn't look like he will, but Ruddo not feeling close enough to try and overtake the championship leader. 1:13.0, Ruddo's best lap time. He's just set it then. It just shows you though, Hirakam's pace of 12.5 really does show you just how much form he's in, and that looks like a car having a big swap around. Duskiver and JPH going through turn 2. Whoa, as close as you dare, but JPH gets hung out to dry. He has to stay in 8th place for the time being. Duskiver in 7th, but still with Matty Rudd as well. Matty Rudd's best lap of 13.8, 13.5 for Duskiver, 13.5 for JPH. Alan's got past KZ2 Haas, his best lap of 14.2, 14.4 for KZ2 Haas, and 18.05's in the 14s as well. So good to see the Miltech driver is even improving on this lap. Look at Ruddo again, he's all over the back of Hirakam. He's had a much more considerable effort this time, and he's going to have a real good chance now. In the slipstream then, up to 6th gear, 150 mile an hour, he's going to be alongside as they go across that start-finish line there. He's going to try and make the gap as tight as possible for Hirakam, but Hirakam, wise to it, just knocks his car through and keeps the lead for the time being. Bruce Lee's joining in the battle as well. Ruddo's considerable effort to get past the race leader has brought Bruce Lee back into play, and it might still play dividends yet for Jack CD. Hello to Mick Cheesy, who's just commented in the chat there. But Ruddo currently putting in a very good performance, which is what you'd expect from Ruddo around this circuit. Now, when the season and the drivers last came to Willow Springs a number of seasons ago now, the situation was a little bit different back then in terms of the results. Back then, Willow Springs, it was Timmy DJG 94 who took the race win on that day. Hirakam ended up finishing 2nd in that race, which just shows you the improvements that Hirakam has made since we last visited Willow Springs. And 3rd place was Hill Climb Racer way back when. So let's see how the drivers get on and whether anyone can stop Hirakam from winning around this circuit. Another fastest lap, or rather fastest personal lap for Bruce Lee at 1:13 flat there. Just together now, the 3 on circuit up front. We've seen these 3 numerous times throughout the season, showing just how quick they are and how consistent they are in this championship. And there's Jack in 4th, Jainho in 5th. The fast car doing as best as he can. Duskiver in 6th. There's Matty Rudd. JPH just hanging on in the background as well. Alan in 9th. KZ2 Haas closing that gap in back to Alan there in 9th place. And 18.05 round out the 11 cars. Well, it looks like Hirakam's had a really good middle sector on this lap. He's got himself 8/10ths clear of Ruddo. Now Ruddo will get the slipstream and he'll bring that gap down in theory. But Bruce Lee's right with him, and look at Bruce Lee. Well, he looks to make a move at turn 11. He doesn't. He doesn't do that. Just stays there. Now he's going to follow him behind. Hirakam's pulling away though, and I fear for Ruddo that the elastic band has snapped and Hirakam is off. The race leader just starting to stretch his legs. A 12.7 on that last lap. 13.3 for Ruddo, so he lost 6/10ths. That might just be Hirakam's time to check out for the rest of the race. There's a couple of comments coming in terms of support from Mick Cheesy, asking where Gibb is. Gibbs alongside you at the moment, Mick Cheesy, virtually. He's watching the race. He couldn't race tonight, unfortunately. KZ2 Haas, he is racing. He's down in 10th at the moment. Oh, that's 18.05 and the pit lane wall. Just caught the end of that. And 18.05 taking some time to recover from that incident as he goes into the tumbleweeds and gets consumed by the pit wall. But there's Haas in 10th, the Adrian Flux car. just trying to chase down Alan at the moment. Good competitive pace from Haas, and this is one of those circuits with the reverse grid races. As I say that, KZ2 Haas goes off into the cacti. But it's one of those circuits where the slipstream has a massive effect, and the drivers will be able to hang on to the faster cars, so don't discredit Haas for race 2. He'll start in second as it stands. And 18.05 has indeed been consumed by the cacti, so that's his race over. But Hirakram, you can see, pulling away. Now, Bruce Lee, with 6 minutes and a little time tick over to that left in the session, he will want second place. He'll want to try and minimise the damage. He's going to push Ruddo going into turn 3. He wants to try and slipstream back up to the Juice Design car that's leading, but with that gap right now, it's going to be very, very difficult. Unless Hirakram were to make an error somewhere, which is unlikely considering Hirakram's form over the years. But stranger things have happened in this championship. Jack still in 4th. Motor Drive car making its debut this season. He's driving well in number 93. Jainho just hasn't been able to make the inroads that he needed. His poor start really cost him in terms of getting onto the back of the leading trio. He would have been there with his raw speed, and Jack probably would have been featuring a little bit more in the battle. He's not too far away now though. He's only 1.1 off the back of Bruce Lee Harding with a quarter of the race to go. And there's Diskyver in 6th. He's just got past Matty Rudd, and now JPH is going to look to the outside of Matty Rudd. Can't find his way through there. Can he get a switch back through turn 2 potentially? He might have to try and do what Hirakram did earlier, go around the outside. Matty Rudd though plants his car in the middle of the circuit. Look at the different lines as well being used through turn 2. A prime example, Diskyver going very wide to square up the corner. Matty Rudd taking the middle line to stop JPH going up the inside, as JPH took a tighter inside line at turn 2. They all clipped the gravel coming out of the exit there. That would have been disastrous if it had tripped up any of them coming out of turn 5. Alan's still in 9th. He's pulled away from Haas. It's Hirakram leading, the gap up to 2.2 now. The race comes now down to what Hirakram can do for the remaining laps. And Ruddo's got away from Bruce Lee Harding, the gap up to a second. Gonna know the last laps, half a second separating them in lap time. 13.2 that time around for Ruddo, and a 13.5. So Bruce has to be careful with less than 4 minutes to go that he doesn't get caught by Jack CD, who's putting in a very good final quarter of this race. He's really got his lap times in a consistent window. You can see on the right hand side of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, a 1:13.3, 13.3, 13.2, 13.3, 13.4, 4, 4, 5, 4. His racing and craft and ability has been fantastic so far. Really good consistent lap times. You just feel it took him a few laps to get himself settled into the race, as 18.05 is now parked coming out of turn 6. Awkward place to be, but you just feel that Jack CD, with a better start, better integration into the race, maybe first race jitters, might be one to watch in race 2. I think Jainho's accepted maybe that 5th place will be the best he can do. Diskyver 6th, Matty Rudd still being hounded and harassed by JPH. JPH taking a wider line, trying to tighten the car and corner up, and he's done very well. It's a very good run. It's going to be under pressure though to get past Matty Rudd, because Matty will just take the slipstream from Diskyver in front of him. He goes a little bit deep into the corner, does Matty Rudd. Can Jordan go around the outside potentially at turn 2? Times refer to JPH as Jordan, of course. The championship creator is JPH 99. Oh, Matty Rudd wide at turn 2. He can't quite come across JPH to block him off, but no room through turn 3 and 4. It's going to take a late ditch effort, and Matty Rudd taking a tight line again. This is just playing into Diskyver's hands. You know, he's not too far ahead of these two, but he's just enough ahead from these two to not get involved in their squabbles. Jordan has got a very good run in that PMR car, that Bumblebee livery. He just can't find a way through. Matty Rudd doing everything he can to keep the bumble behind. 2 laps to go for these drivers. Janio's left the room. Has he had an internet connection issue? Because if he has, that would be devastating for him. But here comes JPH. Nice dummy. Can he go to the outside now? It doesn't quite have the momentum he would have wanted. And he stays in 7th place. Trying to do another dummy up the inside at turn 2. This could work for him. He's going to have to get it slowed down. Matty Rudd will have the momentum. And sure enough, a little touch in the rear bumper puts Matty Rudd just slightly out of JPH's reach. Jack CD's joined onto the back of Bruce Lee Harding. It's a really good effort from him. There's Bruce, there's Ruddo. We're only the trio just separated by 1.5 seconds at the moment. Still time for anything to happen with 1 lap to go. Cannot rule anything out just yet. Duskiver now in 5th place after Janio's demise, which is really unfortunate. There's only 2 laps to go for Janio as well, so he'll miss out on points. And there's Duskiver and Matty Rudd. In fact, Matty Rudd's latched himself onto the back. Jack CD's got past. I said anything could happen, and it's happened to Bruce Lee at the final corner. He's made a mistake, and Jack CD up to a podium on his first attempt in Lobby 1 this season. Just needs to keep it on the circuit. Bruce Lee kicking himself after that. That realistically should have been 3rd place as we move on to the final lap. JP's there in 7th. Alan will see the checkered flag in 8th place. Good return for him. There's Haas in 9th. 18.05 will come round the final corner as well. So had a bit of a tricky one in the end at 18.05, but points on the board. That's what it's all about. Ruddo, Jack, Bruce Lee, and then there's this huge fight for 5th place between Duskiver, Matty Rudd and JPH. But before we go to that, we'll cut back to Hirakam. He's been absolutely fantastic, despite getting overtaken and mobbed by Bruce Lee and Ruddo earlier on. He fought back brilliantly, effortless overtaking in defensive driving. And Hirakam rounds the final corner, and he's going to win race 1 of the night here at Willow Springs. It's Hirakam who takes first blood and 23 points. Great effort. Ruddo will come home in 2nd. Jack CD, podium for the first time this season. Brilliant result for him. Bruce Lee's 4th. Duskiver, will he hold on for 5th place? It looks like he will. Matty Rudd 6th and JPH 7th. Great battle between those 3. And Janio commenting his internet died. That's really unfortunate for Janio. Disappointing result for him. He was on for a good 5th place. But it's Hirakam who has no such concerns. Pole position, fastest lap, no concerns for him. He absolutely dominated that race once he got back in front. And 23 points goes the way of the race winner. And his gap in the championship now increases from 11 points in front of Bruce Lee Harding to what will be 21 points. So the drivers will have 5 or 6 minutes to get themselves settled, take stock of what happened. I'll let them know when we'll be starting. It'll be 20:45. Make sure that our settings are as well as correct. Need to also change the time on that one. So obviously race 2 compared to race 1 is 15 minutes long, not 20 minutes. So the drivers might go out and have a bit of practice. I suspect Alan might go out, or whether he will, we'll soon find out. Maybe not. The drivers will be there in pit lane. Janio saying, "Don't start without me." I won't, Janio. You got 5 minutes. And the drivers will have a few minutes to take stock of what happened. I'm just going to have myself a breather. Well, great effort from Jack CD to get that result in third place. He was putting some really consistent lap times throughout, from lap 5 onwards. It was very impressive. Perhaps without the maybe the tentative start that he had, where he dropped down to 4th to begin with, and a couple of maybe little small tiny errors, just lost in that slipstream chain to begin with. But I feel now that he's got a race under his belt and the nerves will have shook off, he'll be ready to go for race 2. Let's just see if anything has been said in the comments area for the drivers. But we'll wait and see whether Jainio can return. Bruce Lee Harding taken to the track at the moment. I say he's taken to the track right now. He's just doing some donuts on the main start-finish straight. But we'll see how the drivers get on for this one. JPH just saying crazy battle for 5th place. It was quite a mad battle for 5th place. It was very good to watch, I have to say. Lots and lots of action for that position, and it was helped as well by the fact that the gaps at the front had stabilised for a period of time. Got a lot of focus on the dynamic trio of Matty Rudd, Skyver and JPH. But this race coming up will be a lot more frantic. Is Jainio in the lobby? Let's just go and find out. See if he's there. He isn't at the moment. Bruce Lee, I think, at the moment playing in the gravel trap at the turn 7 area. He's just come back on circuit according to his track map guide. But will Jainio make it? That is the question. 1 minute, says Jainio. So good news. Jainio will be able to take to the restart. Believe he will have to start from the back, unless I'm incorrect on that, as he disconnected. I'm sure JPH will be able to correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But let's see how the drivers get on. McCheesy actually made a comment that I didn't catch earlier. He said Hirakram is like Schumacher, he keeps winning. He's a bit of a specialist in this series, is Hirakram. You know, despite the changes to the cars and the format of this championship. Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic and is so consistent in his drive, and which makes him that great. And JPH saying Jainio to start on pole. Well, that means I will have to set a grid instead. That's Jainio saying if he can get in, so I'll have to change the settings. JPH, if you have got the reverse grid order, I'm fairly certain I can memorise it. But we'll just double check. McCheesy saying Schumacher was probably better than Hirakram. Well, Hirakram's driven a full focus race cup car in his testing before. Jainio saying leave for now, or give me 2 minutes. Okay, I'll give 2 minutes. Yeah, same false start check should be on, but the problem with that is that if you put the false start check on, then I can't say me numbers. That's what that is. That's just that's my whole thing. Just gone. Why don't we change it to grid start with rolling start for others? So we're still waiting on Jainio. So 1 minute to go. See whether Jainio can get in. If he does, then we can put Jainio on pole position with 18.05 in second. Haas would start third. Alan would be in fourth. JPH would be fifth. Matty Rudd sixth. And following on from Matty Rudd, it'd be Skiver in seventh position. Then it'd be Bruce Lee Harden in eighth. Be Jack CD in ninth position. Ruddo in 10th. And Hirakram in 11th, but all depends whether or not drivers will be able to make that, whether Jainio will be able to make the start, giving him as much time as we can here. Jainio saying, well, Matty Rudd saying that Jainio should be last according to the rules. Well, main man JPH 99, he's apparently starting in first, so that's the score on that one. A couple of comments coming in there saying thought disconnect start last. Take that one up with JPH. That's what I would say. Sorry to Jordan for that one, but that is the score. In terms of disconnections, there have been different rules in the past, over past seasons, where a driver has disconnected and they've had to start last, and this season that rule may have been updated. And JPH just reaffirming there the situation on that. But eventually, at the end of the day, it comes down to whether Jay can make it back into the lobby. I'm willing to give him until 2050, but we will then need to make a start. Ruddo saying he's cool with it, which is good news. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. A couple of cars just out on track at the moment. Let's see who's out there. Oh, there's Hirakram taking his route back to area 51. It's 18.05, just getting some mileage in. Alan as well. Alan has gone for a different livery this time. He's got a shell and a toe on the side of his car, the Austrian. He's got a white and blue livery. Not the livery he should be running, but for some reason Alan's always seemed to have issues. Jainio just saying, thanks Jack, trying. But we'll see whether the drivers can do anything. Cheesy just putting a comment in saying he's missing a tenth of a second at Le Mans, which is a very unique track. Why the Méganes have never been to Le Mans is actually a question I've always pondered. Same with the Nordschleife. Always like seeing cars tackle the most difficult circuits, but then I'm a little bit more of a harsher host than anything. But that's Jainio saying it's not happening. Unfortunately, we'll crack on. 18.05 has left, which is not ideal. Just as I was about to put race start now, so whether 18.05 will return, it's got 5 seconds. We'll make sure the settings are correct just to be on the safe side. Race grid based on previous race results. A false start check. So let's get things underway. for race 2 of the night. Here comes... yeah, that's what's going on over there. But here we go then, race 2 at Willow Springs, 15 minutes for this session, and it's going to be on the front row. KZ2 Haas is on pole position as a result of 18.05 leaving, of Alan in second. JPH and Matty Rudd will be lining up on the second row. It'll be interesting to see how they get on. But for the second time tonight, 15 minutes on the right hand side, and let's see which driver gets off to the best launch. And the race is live from Willow Springs. It's race 2, and it's KZ2 Haas who leads going into what will be turn 1. JPH trying to make a challenge on Alan around the outside, but no doing so far. Rest of the drivers look relatively clean at the moment, but here comes the jostling and jockeying for position. Matty Rudd trying to go around the outside of JPH as Jack CD on the inside of Bruce Lee Hardin there. JPH will try and fend off Matty Rudd by shutting the door if he can. Haas under pressure from the white and blue toned Alan 1. JPH still there in third place, holding on well. Then there's a couple of cars jostling over 5th place. It's Matty Rudd and Duskiver. Then there's Bruce Lee and Jack CD still side by side. Hirakram and Ruddo just stuck at the back at the minute. They haven't made the progress they would have wanted as Bruce Lee goes sideways coming out of turn 6. Not ideal as drivers split the way through. Looks like Bruce Lee's got a very good run potentially on Duskiver, but he's going to be under threat from Jack CD. And try and get the camera angles here just so we can see what's going on precisely. There's Hirakam at the back of the train. Haas still leads. Look at Duskiver, bit of jockeying, and off goes Jack CD. He just got squeezed off. I think there was a little bit of contact into Bruce, into Jack, and he is, oh, he's gone a long way round as well. The motor drive car blending in with the scenery, unfortunately. Matty Rudd's got the lead. Janio has unfortunately just joined the room. He's going to miss out, but this carnage going on for the race lead. Look at the drivers scrambling all over the tarmac to try and find a way through. JPH underneath KZ2 Haas. Can he make second place? Can he just get there? He's got the slipstream. Can he hold on for that second? Haas dives one back up the inside. A little bit of contact between himself and JPH. Hasn't worked out. That contact has made him worse off, and Duskiver gets through. Ruddo's going to get past him. Oh, and Duskiver throws it off at the gravel, and he's going to drop like a stone down to 7th. What should have been 3rd ended up being 7th for him, and that's Hirakram doing a switchback. Oh, he's been squeezed right out by KZ2 Haas. Proper hard fighting from Haas. He takes his position on circuit, not giving Hirakram any room at all. So Bruce Lee now in 5th position. Oh, Hirakram's on the inside, a little bit of contact. Duskiver's there as well, trying to squeeze through, but nothing for them so far. Matty Rudd still leads the way. Then it's JPH. Look at Ruddo trying to go around the outside, coming towards turn 1. You have to try and balance his braking here, Ruddo, to keep any pressure on JPH, and he's done that well. He's underneath JPH going towards turn 2. He's going to try and go around the outside, just like Hirakram did to Bruce Lee before, but he can't squeeze through. So he stays there for now. Haas is still in 4th. Bruce Lee's in 5th. Ruddo trying to make a move on JPH, but no worth. Jack CD saying restart for Jay. Unfortunately not, Jack. I know you're having problems at the back. And you have not gone off. Oh, look at Hirakram trying to make a late lunge. Going to be on the outside for turn 6 though. Not the ideal line for overtaking through that corner. And there's Duskiver in 7th. Allen's in 8th. It's just dropped off the back now. But Matty Rudd breaking away, and he's going to be joined by Ruddo. It gets past JPH, so siblings 1 and 2 at the minute. Matty Rudd and Ruddo 24. Matty Rudd never won a race, but look at Ruddo all over the back of him. Matty Rudd moves to the outside line. This should be a relatively easy move to complete from Ruddo. And it is. And Ruddo 24 moves into the lead. Goes a bit deep at turn 1. Got to be careful not to run too far over. Hirakram's got himself up into 5th. He's going to be on the outside of Duskiver, but he's done this move before. Duskiver having none of it. Duskiver blocking that route, and Bruce Lee trying to force his way through at turn 2. They're going to push Hirakram off, runs him out wide. Bruce Lee gets back through. KZ2 Haas is now in 6th, and Hirakram loses out as a result. McCheesy's comment just coming in at a late time. And can Hirakram try and dive back up into 6th place? He can't. Bit of contact between himself and Duskiver. Does the right thing. Does Hirakram just holds himself behind Haas. And then he looks to make a move. Haas is doing his absolute utmost. He doesn't want to let anyone through tonight. And why would he? Why would he? He should be fighting for every position he can get, and that's exactly what he's doing. The front trio, though, have broken away. Bit more squabbling going on for 2nd place, though, which has allowed Ruddo a gap of 8/10. Matty Rudd were following. Now JPH. Can JPH look for a move at the inside? No. JPH just backed off the throttle then as he approached turn 1. And there's Duskiver. Look at Bruce Lee. That's a very good exit out of turn 1. He's going to be up the inside for turn 2. See the snap that the car did then with Bruce's rear brake balance. Definitely aiming towards the rear of the car. He gets up to 4th. So Bruce Lee running in 4th position. So it's 2 siblings followed by 2 family members followed by Duskiver. There's KZ2 Haas, who's still holding off Hirakram, who's stuck behind the Lobby 2 runner-up from last season. Haas put in a great defensive effort. It's gone a little bit wide though, as I say that, unfortunately. Hirakram might just have the room to get through this time. It's going to be side by side approaching turn number 9. Oh, a little bit of contact between the two. Haas just not giving any room at all tonight. Alan watching this. Oh, how little room did Haas want to give there? Hirakram finding out the hard way what Haas is like. Great switchback. Oh, Haas just pushing Hirakram onto the gravel. Exceptionally defensive driving. Here comes Alan. They're going to try and make it 3 wide as they approach turn 1. Who's going to come out of this in 6th place? Hirakram, in the end, had enough of being pushed about, and he's forced his way into 6th. Hirakram finally gets that move done, but he's about 2.5 seconds back from Duskiver. Now that's not a big gap, but with 8 minutes to go, it's going to take a Herculean effort to catch up to the back of the rest of the field. What can he do? Haas will hope that he can just follow with him, but he's got Alan following him as well, so he'll be in 2 minds about everything. Duskiver running in 5th place. There's Bruce Lee in 4th. JPH, where are you going, sunshine? The cactus is not the road that you need to be on. He's in 3rd, but he will have lost a chunk of time, and he's lost the slipstream from Matty Rudd. And that will just open the door for Bruce Lee for a bit more momentum, as if he needed it, to try and gain some back some points in this championship fight. He's 21 behind at present. As it stands, it's 19, but Duskiver's all over him. Duskiver really showing some upturning performance. A 113.6 on that last lap. Oh, Bruce Lee taking an awkward line through turn 1. Look at Haas and Allen fighting tooth and nail for 7th position. They had a good fight in race 1. And there's Jack. I feel sorry for Jack. He just got caught out on the first lap. He ended up going down that long route around the final corner, which is what D. Whitehouse did in Lobby 2 seasons ago. Just got caught on that gravel and went straight through the outside line. You lose so much time as a result. But really good fighting. Matty doing well in 2nd place. JPH in 3rd, looking for his first podium in quite some time. His pace just needs to be consistent. Bruce Lee's got a penalty he's got to try and deal with. Look at Hirakram, he's already there in 6th place. Only took him a few moments, didn't it, ladies and gentlemen, and he's there now. Right in the frame. JPH runs wide out the final corner, potentially setting himself up for a fastest lap, and the slipstream on Duskiver is going to be close enough to make a move towards someone. Fastest lap from Hirakram at 12.6. I said he would. On the outside, he brakes later. Duskiver gave it so much braking room, and Hirakram just went round the outside of him. Thank you very much. He's up to 5th. He won't find it as easy getting past Bruce Lee Harding or JPH. These two, well known for the defensive driving. Bruce Lee especially. But priorities now in the championship for Bruce Lee. What does he do? Because at the moment he's scoring exactly the same points as Hirakram, thanks to Hirakram getting the fastest lap. Matty Rudd currently running in second place, and Matty Rudd's showing this season that you don't have to be the fastest driver, but the more consistent you are, the more points you're likely to get, the more podiums. And Matty Rudd's been incredible at picking up podiums this season and good race results. He's been really solid at that, and he's just got another 5 minutes to go to make sure he holds on. But this is the pack we're watching now, the trio fighting for the last spot on the podium. Look at Hirakram's run as he comes out of... Oh, he's just at the back of Bruce Lee. He goes onto the gravel. I thought for a moment that was going to go awfully wrong. He's going to be on the inside. Bruce Lee breaks. He's going to get the pair of them. What a move. Wow, have you ever seen that before? Two cars outbraked into turn one. Bruce Lee admittedly was taking his penalty, but JPH just got caught out by Hirakram's braking. What a move. One of the overtakes of the season. That was fantastic. JPH down to 5th. And it doesn't matter about the... Oh, Hirakram just got on the gravel. I thought he was going to get spat out into the other side of the circuit. But Hirakram will look at Matty Rudd now and think, I can get him with 4 minutes to go. Matty Rudd still on for a great result, regardless of whether he gets caught, but he's going to have to defend for his life if he wants to hold on to that second position. McCheesy just put on a comment in earlier saying Bruce and Hirakram were on the same amount of points. Yeah, so for that, as it was running before, when Bruce was 4th and Hirakram was 5th, Bruce would score 13 points, would have scored 13 points, and Hirakram would have scored 12. But an extra point goes the way of fastest lap, which Hirakram has, so it would be 13 points each. Right now, Hirakram's extending his gap and he's going to be 24 points clear. So, will be fascinating to see whether he's already within a second of Matty Rudd, which is just showing you the ease of which this Hirakram has caught up, despite finding it exceptionally tough to get past Haas, who, I've got to say, put a brilliant defensive drive up. He is absolutely flown through the field. Super impressive. Bruce is still 4th, JPH is still 5th. Right now, Hirakram in a family-esque sandwich. 2 different families, of course. But he's all over the back of Matty Rudd in the Zerkatak car. Will he look to try and go around the outside at turn 10? He's going to try. Ladies and gentlemen, he's going to give it a go. 150 mile an hour. Matty Rudd just blocks the door off. Still can't find a way through. He's going to go around the outside now. He's done this before on Duskiver. Can he do the same thing to Matty Rudd? On the outside for turn 1, brakes later. Will Matty Rudd just push him wide? He does. Onto the gravel goes Hirakram, who's found the gravel a lot tonight, through no fault of his own. But Hirakram will be a little bit frustrated at what has happened with the racing tonight. He wouldn't want that. Doesn't like the gravel, wants to stay on the tarmac at all times. Bruce Lee still in 4th, JPH still there in 5th, Duskiver in 6th, there's Haas still fighting with Allen. And Jack's almost caught up to the back of the 2. I think he might just run out of time, unfortunately. Well, there's our long-time leader of Ruddo. But right now we're focused on this fight for second position. And look at Hirakram. Has he got a run going towards turn 10? Matty Rudd's trying to squeeze him, but he's not going to make it through. So Hirakram should, in theory, get this move sorted, which he does do. Can Matty Rudd get a better switch back? Can he do anything? Matty Rudd to try and attack into turn 1. He's got a minute to go. He's got 1.3 seconds. He could give it a lunge. Hirakram wise to it. Goes defensive, but that's that. That's the move that's been done. So 1 lap to go almost for a couple of these drivers. The guys that have just crossed the line, so that would be Haas and Allen and Jack CD, they're on their final laps. It's going to be very, very close over these remaining laps. Can Matty Rudd do anything to fight back? Ruddo just needs to keep it on the island. Which is exactly what he wants. On his way to another race victory. At the present is Ruddo. Aerocam now in second. There's Bruce Lee still fourth. Less than a second behind Matty Rudd. What can he do? Can he make any impression on this final lap on Matty Rudd? But they're going to start the final laps. JPH will make it over the line. Will Skyver? It should do. He does. So it's KZ2 Haas who's going to round the final corner then. Alan doing his absolute utmost. Can he make a way through? He's going to try and go over the gravel. Haas very defensive over the line, but it's going to be Haas who takes 7th. Alan 8th. Jack, he's there in 9th. Almost caught up to the back of everyone. Matty Rudd looking like he's going to have to defend at these final few corners. And Bruce Lee putting him under as much pressure as possible. Can he do anything? On this final lap, he's got a very good run coming out of turn 6. What a momentum effort this is. He's going to try and go around the outside. Can he do anything around the outside line? I am conscious of Ruddo coming around the final corner. Oh, it's going to be exceptionally close. We're going to cut to Ruddo just briefly, because what a drive from him. He takes another race win this season. Great results. Ruddo wins. Hirakram will take second. Matty Rudd, is he going to hold on? It looks like he will for third. Bruce Lee fourth. JPH fifth, and Duskiver comes home in 6th place. What a fantastic race too that was. That was really excellent to watch. But it's Ruddo _24. He takes the 2nd race win of the night. He got himself into the lead fight earlier on, got past his brother Matty Rudd, and off he went. Race win was his. 2nd great drive through the field from Hirakram, really showing the class he has at the moment, a class of his own realistically at the moment. And well done to Matty Rudd again, just showing that consistency is what you need to score podiums in this championship. It's been really, really good to watch. And Matty Rudd held off in the end, and Hirakram extends his championship advantage. Goes from 21 points. Hirakram obviously finishing in 2nd, gets 18. Bruce Lee will take 13. Hirakram gets an extra point on top of the 18, so it's 19. He's got 27 points. Gap advantage now with 4 rounds to go. But for tonight, nevertheless, that has been it for round 6 of the Power Max Racing Renault Mégane Trophy here with NXTGEN. Next week the drivers will be off to Japan for Suzuka East for round 7. That track always throws up an incredible set of races. But no matter where you might be in the big wide world, thank you very much for watching tonight's stream. Do make sure you give a follow on Twitch to make sure that you get all of the Renault Mégane action. And as well, these races will be exported and uploaded onto YouTube, so check it out on JackTM53 over there. But thank you very much for watching. Wherever you might be, have a good one. See you soon.